We'll just sit in silence. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Let's enjoy the silence.
It's so peaceful out here. You hear those crickets? I have crickets in my ears.
We cannot hear those, no.
No crickets. But what we do have is Benny Hamlin.
I saw Wallace Shawn die. Wallace Shawn is dead.
You're a jabroni.
I didn't get the change done in time.
You know how long your intro is.
All right, everybody. Well, it's Wednesday night. I'm stealing AJ's bit.
There we go. Nice.
Yeah, there we go. He's got his cowboy hat on. It's What the Show. And as usual, we cannot get all four of the hosts together on a Wednesday night. So tonight we have AJ and I, along with our special guest, once again returning, Jeffrey Kahn. Kahn, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. This is my third straight day of recording something because we do 2 left side, strong side podcasts a week now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. It's rough when you're doing multiple things. Like I know exactly how it is when you're doing 2-3 in a row. It's draining actually.
Don't worry, I'll try and bring the energy. I'll keep it up for as long as I can.
I recorded a episode of Settle the Score and then did What the Show like in the same day. That was a little taxing, but you know it's all good. We
all
all
for
do
the
it
content. You do it for
exactly. Exactly.
We're content creators. We gotta keep the trend moving.
All right, so AJ, fill in everybody. Why are you on your phone, and why does this look different?
Because I'm a proud Iowan now. Moved across the river. It's been like a month-long process. So 2 people. I've lived in MySpace for like 5 years. Her in 13 years, and we got all of our stuff, for the most part, into a house. All the good stuff, and getting rid of all the other stuff. So still have a lot left to do. Really tired. So, but it's been fun. It's been really cool. Council Bluffs is way cooler than I used to give it credit for. Got my own little small town, so it's pretty awesome.
Can I get an explanation for the cowboy hat?
Okay, so I'm a man of many hats, actually.
Yes.
I've got a lot of them here with me. Do you remember? Well, you were on the Finstock Exchange. You're going to remember this one.
Feels like an eternity.
This exact one.
Yeah, that does look like. Yeah, I remember Dagnino wearing that at some point.
Yep. That was a collision hat.
The memories come flooding back.
So, and I have a collection of NFL team hats. So,
okay.
I have my Bucks hat. I have my Super Bowl champion Bengals hat.
That won't be relevant for a while.
I have my Damar Hamlin anniversary Bills hat.
Right.
I have.
You have one for every single
for
team.
some godforsaken reason.
My goodness.
PLD.
Did he send it to you?
The Washington Commanders hat.
They were the football team when you bought it, right?
Listen, when I it hurt to buy this hat, but when it came to the Super Bowl last year, fuck you, go Birds.
I'm just imagining your setup off screen where you just have like 20 hats just ready to go.
But because I could not buy a Cowboys hat.
I see. I mean, it's emblematic of how good they are this year.
Actually, this one started with I did Twisters with Benny and Moose, and I said I was going to show up in a cowboy hat, even though it's an audio podcast.
You weren't lying.
So, yeah, man of many hats. I usually don't wear a hat much anymore. It's weird too. Mike knows. In public, glued to me.
Yeah.
Like
You
most
and
of the time
JT.
anymore.
I don't think outside of you getting ready to go to sleep anytime I've seen you, or Like you specifically getting ready to go to sleep is the only time I've seen you in person without a hat on.
This man saw me get out of the shower with a hat on.
I'm just wondering if there are people out there who go to sleep with a hat on. It's like there have to be, right?
Listen, on a brave, drunk enough night, it's happened.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
You get a sleeping cap.
That's
How-
true.
But here's the question: how did the shirt come off, but the
You
hat
find
stayed
out.
on?
Yeah. That's
One of life's great mysteries.
Hey, Lego in the chat. If you feel it, chase it.
That is, yeah. William with reminds me. Indiana Jones is the greatest new nickname
Yeah.
of the new football season.
the perfectly fit name. You know, he one of the I guess you'd call it a pleasant surprise. You know, seeing somebody who was completely written off actually
Sure.
very well for himself. It's nice to see reclamation stories.
Did that nickname originate from Tom Grossi, whose videos I watch occasionally, or did someone else come up with that? I have no idea.
He probably I don't know if he
Because if he did come up with
It-
it, it's genius.
but it probably he like to say that he probably accelerated it is a fair way to put it. Him or Perna. I'm all for this Broncos losing. I have nothing against the Denver Broncos, but
it's just
Brendan
funny.
Perna's content is so much better when they lose. So I'm all about.
That's I feel like that's true for most content creators. It's funnier when they're suffering.
Yeah.
Listen,
For anyone.
Cortland Sutton still threw up like 24 points last week. I'm happy.
Yeah, exactly. They look good losing.
Like, that's the thing. They might be the best bad team in the NFL, like more so than they are like the worst good team.
Sure.
Mm.
Perfectly. Yeah.
So you want to talk about like ridiculousness? We have our fantasy football team, as you know, Con, is now 16 teams.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ludicrous. There is one team that is still 3-0. If you had to predict out of everybody in our league, because I know you've seen who's in it, who do you think is 3-0?
There's so many people I want. I mean, there's so many possibilities. It's probably someone who's not paying attention because that's just how fantasy football works. I'll say PLD. Is it PLD?
It's not PLD. I think he's 0-3 actually.
Oh, okay.
I'll double check that. It is his podcast partner though.
Oh, it's PJ.
PJ Campbell of all.
Didn't he
people.
win the league one year without trying?
He did. He
Yeah.
won the league. I don't think PJ's watched a football game yet this year.
He doesn't work.
He is undefeated.
That's just At some point, I feel like I should just stop trying at fantasy football because I think I try too hard, and I win like once every 5-6 years. I should just stop trying because it clearly doesn't work.
Trying is the first step towards failure.
Exactly.
I'm double checking on PLD. I think PLD is 0. No, PLD is 1-2. Somebody in the chat is 0-3, and this is an incorrect statement.
Oh, it's not.
Nope. William and our own Justin the Juice coming in at 0-3.
I'm assuming whoever's team had Joe Burrow is probably suffering because it's a
that-
16-team superflex.
That
So-
actually is Benny, who was
Oh, yeah,
smart
he's
enough
he's a
to
big-
draft. He drafted Bo Nix as a third quarterback, so
Okay. Yeah.
he actually didn't get too burned by it.
I had Burrow in a different superflex league, and I am struggling.
I had Burrow in my single quarterback
not
league.
back him
Now
up.
I am streaming quarterbacks now, so
Yeah.
I have Geno Smith playing this week.
I'm
so
really
that's all.
hoping Jackson Dart is the second coming of Jesus. that's where I'm at. So
It's been an interesting. We went through almost the entire preseason, and for the most part, week
No
one
big
without any major injury, and then week two happened.
and then it's been nonstop.
Yeah. I played Jerry with the week 1 Packers. No.
Yep.
Yeah, with Tucker Kraft.
Oof.
And then last week, I can't remember who it was, but somebody's went off again, and it was like the next week's both of them had Q tags for like their entire team going off.
Jerry has like 4 or 5 Packers in his lineup, and last week did not break 100 points. So
That's the yeah. It's either really good if you have all Homer team, or it's really bad.
Bethany does it all the time. She's got Jared Goff, St. Brown, and David Montgomery. The first
Oh,
week
that probably
she did
worked
her-
great last week. When they
Yeah.
played both
Oh,
of them.
she is leading the league in points.
Exactly. It works out sometimes.
Oh my goodness. Lego playing fantasy football would be.
She would win the league. They'd win the league.
I would love to see the draft strategy. Like
We
how
in
Lego
the
went
league
about it.
in a league that Jacob runs. I don't want to out who this person is because I don't want.
I know who it
them.
is. I'm
But,
well aware who it is.
They draft their draft was more insane than we've seen. Like they drafted a defense and a kicker in the 3rd and 4th round.
Nice.
They took Carson Wentz, I think, in the 11th round. This is before we even knew he'd ever start a game.
Boy, that worked out.
Yeah, that worked. And it was.
Is it the
quite
same
something.
person who last year took Travis Kelce?
No, it is not.
number
No,
one?
that's Abby, and she took Travis Kelce again.
Okay.
But no, it's someone else, but they're still 2-1.
Oh,
So
of course.
nothing makes sense. So
That's typically how it goes. You get somebody who, like Jeff Walterman is in our league, another one. He somewhat follows the Eagles because he's in Philadelphia, but doesn't really pay attention to anything else. His first 3 picks were Hurts, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. He's 2-1. So like you never know.
you never know.
But we
The moral of the
kinda-
story is stop trying. Just
Yeah.
in life, stop trying. It's good life advice.
Yeah, you might at this point Chat GPT might win the league. Who knows?
It's true. Yeah,
So
it's not. Yeah, fantasy football is not hard to pick up, but then if you start getting into it, you'll never stop because it's slightly addicting.
basically statistics.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff also drafted Shador Sanders on like the 10th round.
I did see that. I was like, what the heck?
We all applauded, like, what just happened? But yes, all right, good for you, buddy. All right, so actually, William in our chat one day suggested this topic. We thought Con would be a good guest. I wish we had Juice and Bethany with us, but we didn't have either of them here tonight. But talking about like, because we're all obviously movie buffs. He was like, what are like some of your outright favorite movie experiences? And I think I wanted to shift that to memorable because I think there can be both sides of the coin where you can have an amazing experience that is super memorable, and then you could have it for the exact opposite reason, just going to see a movie that for whatever reason, not even necessarily the movie, the audience, or some external factor or whatever it is, caused absolute chaos for it. So I think I'd like Con to let you start, however you want to go. If you want to start with a fun one or a not so fun one or whatever you want to do, but like, what would you consider one of your most memorable theater experiences?
So the first one that came to mind is not something that happened. Like the experience wasn't so much in the theater; it was what happened after. So it was for Get Out. I went with a bunch of friends. I was in college at the time. That's how young I am. We actually we came in late. We missed the first scene with the Keith Stanfield. We walked in when they were driving to the parents' house. And but then after the movie, we all went to get dinner and we could not stop talking about, we were like breaking down scene by scene. We were just talking about like, look at all these deeper messages behind the movie. So that's when I realized like, wow, this movie's actually, it's proven to be really good because of how much we're talking about it. So that was a good one.
I know one of AJ's. Do you want to just go right into that one, or do you want to go somewhere? I know one of yours.
Yeah, you already know what it is. Con, you don't. I don't think you've heard about this one. So the first time I ever had a movie theater date,
Okay.
15 years old, went and saw Lady in the Water.
Interesting.
Now, you're going to look something up after this. You're going to find out that this was something that only happened in about a couple dozen theaters throughout the country.
Okay.
Some theaters accidentally received the assembly cut of the film.
Oh no. So it's
So
not done.
the CGI is halfway done. And there's a boom mic in every shot of the movie just creeping in from out of frame.
That's amazing.
And I just thought that that's how the movie was.
Right.
Because
That was
so
on purpose.
Like it wasn't until like years later that I Googled it to see if other people had this experience, because like I never wanted to watch that movie again. I still haven't seen Lady in the Water again. Maybe I should watch Lady in the Water after this.
Yeah,
If you
watch
have
the
a
real
better
version.
movie for me to watch than Lady in the Water after this, sound off in the chat.
Yeah.
Lego, I know you've got something.
Oh yeah, there's something on Tubi right now that Lego will have a recommendation of.
Please, I'm a big Tubi guy.
What was the reaction while you were watching this cut of the?
Um,
Was it just shock or was it?
Listen, man. Also, 15-year-old on his
Oh,
first
that's-
movie theater date. We saw some of the movie.
So,
You'll just gotta take it.
fun fact, like, yeah, I worked as a projectionist for years. I wouldn't take a drink. But Lost in Translation actually, we got specific instructions with the print to make sure it was framed high enough, because it was flat. Because a flat one can go up and down a little bit more than a scope can. And we specifically got instructions to make sure that we framed it high, because the boom mic was visible. Like, the studio was aware of it. And they actually did tell, we had a note in that was the only one of, I've had other theater notes in there. Most of them were about like sound, but that was the only one I ever had that was like, hey, we fucked up, you know?
It's crazy.
I have a fun one from a couple of, not super long ago, a couple of years ago. The movie The Dead Don't Die.
Okay.
You remember that?
I haven't actually seen it, but I know of the premise. Go ahead.
It's a bizarre
Yeah.
movie, and this comes into play.
Mhm.
I've gone to hundreds, if not thousands, of movies in my life.
Mhm.
This movie, I don't remember the exact, if it was either 13 or 15 people when the movie started. When the movie ended, there were 7. Literally half of the audience just upped and like, yep, I'm done with this.
I'm done.
It is, and here's the thing: is like I don't remember a ton about the details of the movie. I kind of feel like I should revisit it. AJ, maybe you should watch The Dead Don't Die tonight.
I've watched that movie recently. It's really good.
It's a bizarre movie. Like it's really weird, and it's definitely not for a mainstream audience. It's not going to be your blockbuster audience is catching that. But literally just watching the people like every few minutes somebody else throwing in the towel was.
So it wasn't like a collective thing where something happened in a movie where everyone.
No, it was a slow burn.
Oh, wow.
I don't think there's one individual moment in that movie that would cause it. It was just like, because the movie is,
the realization starts to set in differently.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's
okay,
a very the pacing of it's not fast paced whatsoever. It's a little bit methodical, and there's a lot of things in it that are just like, I don't want to say nonsensical, but they almost are, because it is going somewhere, so it does lead to something. But as you're watching the movie, you're like, what am I watching? It's one of those movies, and I think a lot of people saw that it was Bill Murray and Adam Driver and were expecting a comedy.
Sure.
And while it's got like dark comedic tones to it, it's not like a laugh out loud kind of movie.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. I think, I've definitely seen movies where people have gotten up and left, but I'm pretty certain that percentage wise, that's the highest percentage of people at a theater I've seen.
Well, it's literally 50. It's 50%.
Yeah. So that one was definitely a lot of fun. Yeah. I enjoyed watching that. That's one of those movies too that I went to see because of AMC A-List. I don't know if I would have went and spent the money on it, but I was happy to have had the experience, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Colin, what's another one for you?
This one is just memorable. It's neither good nor bad. I don't even remember what the circumstances were where I took a friend who did happen to be a girl. It wasn't a date, but I took her to see Sausage Party. I don't even know how. I might have just suggested because it was animated.
Yeah.
And so she was like, "Oh, this can be. It's not going to be that bad, right? It's like there's not going to be anything that's like that'll scar you for life or anything." And then little did I know, when we got to the end, I think her expression was just one of shock, and mine was just, I was like trying not to look at the screen because it was
Awkward.
It's graphic for a kid's movie or for an animated movie. And then we left the screen and was just like, what the heck was that? And then since then she's brought it up like multiple times. Like, do you remember when you took me to see Sausage Party? I'm like, yes, unfortunately I do. I don't think I've ever watched the movie since because it's that.
I saw it in theaters as well. I've never watched it since, but I just remember like I don't
think anyone expected that, because I expected like gross humor and like
Yeah.
like more adult, sensible things. I did
Than
not
that
experience
ending.
that.
That ending.
Oh my god! So don't Google if you've never seen the movie. Don't Google it because you're gonna be scarred. Or do I don't know. Maybe you're just crazy.
My buddy and I both smoked a little bit before we saw that. Yes, that was
That's
the correct
probably
way
the
to
best
see.
way.
That was the correct way to see that.
That's probably the best way.
Oh,
Now I want
we have
a
a
hot
recommendation,
dog real
AJ.
bad. Let's see here.
Check out The Seventh Curse. It's the same director as Story of the Riki.
We'll go deep cut here.
Ooh. By the way, I have forwarded Monster in the Closet to the appropriate source. I think that's going to be the move.
There we go.
But let's see here. I don't think I ever remember being in a movie theater outside of Lady in the Water. That's the cinematic excellence of M. Night Shyamalan.
The rest are just they don't blend
That's it.
together. But Lady in the
Don't
Water, that's the one.
Taking a kid to see Star Wars Star Wars in a movie theater for the first time. Seeing Rogue One was the one that always kind of stands out. That's a big one.
This is not some random kid, right? You said taking a kid.
It's
Okay.
somebody I was with at the time, and like her kid, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Seeing Rogue One, seeing the kids see Star Wars, and being like to a 5-year-old, hey, they made that movie on Earth. Like really just mind blowing for this kid. It's pretty awesome. Seeing things like people's experiences through those eyes, magical. Let's see here. Seeing Free Willy as a kid about that age myself, and loving that movie so much that I needed to name the family pet a Cocker Spaniel, Willie. We got the dog that day.
Why not?
But the Cocker Spaniel looked like Willie Nelson, so it worked.
Right on.
Yeah. Look at a Cocker Spaniel. They look like Willie Nelson.
That's a fair comparison. I'm not going to argue that one at all.
Yeah.
Rogue One does hold a special place in my heart. That actually was the first movie Bethany and I saw together. We'd both seen it beforehand, but that was like the first movie we saw together as a couple. So that holds a special place. You mentioning Star Wars. I actually have almost every Star Wars movie has some sort of historical significance for me. I guess Attack of the Clones really doesn't have a big one. I saw the re-releases of the original trilogy when they did them in the 90s. I saw all of those in theaters, which was a lot of fun. I saw every one of those as like a matinee on a Sunday. So, that was just like a very pleasant, happy experience to get to see those. And I remember being kind of excited at the time to see the changes. And, obviously over time, most of those are not really well regarded. There's certain things in it that I think are fine, but for the most part, I think it just overstuffs the movie. But I saw episode 1 at midnight. That was one of the earliest I have had to buy tickets. And this is pre-internet, it's 99. We went to the movie theater to buy them, but that was when 777 film was a thing. And you could not, that was like when AMC's website crashed, for like any of the Avengers movies, 777 film, you could not connect to it the day that the episode 1 came out. So we actually just drove to the movie theater and bought them in person, which was no big deal. It wasn't assigned seating or anything, and they still had them when we got there. But I probably had my tickets for episode 1. Like, again, this is in 1999 for like a month or two before the movie actually came out, which, back then pre-sales weren't that big of a thing then. You just went to the theater and bought your ticket day of. It was, very unusual. Even when I got into the early 2000s, when I was working at the theater, like once in a blue moon, somebody would come in on like a Wednesday to buy like the Friday night ticket or something. It wasn't pre-sales.
This weirdo.
Yeah, exactly.
Buying it early.
But the other one with Star Wars I did want to mention was, I know I've mentioned this on the show before, but if you're talking memorable, AJ mentioned like you got the work print of Lady in the Water. So we got an email from our corporate offices saying that there was a couple of charity screenings of Revenge of the Sith that actually had Mandarin subtitles on them. Ooh. So they were like, we want to make sure every single copy of Revenge of the Sith is screened before it shows to the public at midnight. We didn't get our prints. We were the last theater in our district to get them. So we got the prints around 4:00. A movie that size to build, to assemble, took about, give or take, 45 minutes to an hour, because you had to put a trailer pack on it. You had to put each of the trailers on individually. Then you had to do it reel by reel and spin it around. Usually would take, give or take, about 45 minutes to put one of them together. And we got 4 copies. And we were supposed to have all 4 of these watched before midnight. So they get the first one done. Daytime manager goes, we put them into the smallest theater in the house. They cancel the movie. Nobody knows that any better. Like, I don't think anybody aside from the projectionist even knew it was going on. Then the second one gets done. This is about like 7 o'clock. And then the next, the daytime projectionist is there. They go and they watch that with somebody else, and they're fine. And then my manager comes up to me. We had 3 projectionists that night. And she's like, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I need you to go sit in the theater and watch Revenge of the Sith. This is at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
There is a midnight show. There's no pre-assigned seating. There is already a line of people waiting to get into this. And I am in the theater. It's going to play. They had to literally put a security guard in front of my door to stop people from coming in. And then there was one of the theater employees who went to the actual theater check while I was in there. You know, when they walk around and they check the exit, check the temperature, that kind of thing. And they just looked up at me and yelled, "What the fuck?"
I can't handle this. I can't.
They are getting destroyed in the lobby. Like, you know, the ticket sales and the concessions, they're getting murdered out there. There's lines for every single theater that this is playing in. And there I am getting paid to watch Star Wars episode 3.
What a life.
So that's definitely like of my time there. I watched a lot of movies, but most of the time I worked overnights, Thursdays into Fridays, and I did get to watch most of the movie, but it was after hours. So like I would watch after the theater was closed, you know, it'd be like midnight, 1 in the morning, and we'd stay late and watch whatever the next movie coming out the next day was. But this one was, you know, literally while the theater is open and there's people literally waiting to see this movie. So that was definitely an interesting one for me. Kind of got another.
It might be a cliche. It might be a cliche answer because I feel like everyone had a similar experience, but Avengers: Infinity War, just the end when you can hear like a pin drop because everyone's reacting to who's getting dusted at the end, and then everyone walking out is like at the time, like in the moment you're not thinking, oh, of course they're gonna come back later. So like you're just seeing all these sad and disappointed people. Like, how could they kill Black Panther after one movie?
That was the one. You know, definitely. I think everybody got a reaction, but when Black Panther dusted, I think that's
the biggest one.
That was the
like,
gasp.
It's like because his movie had just come out like a couple months before. It's like there's no way. But in the moment, you're not thinking like a critical person. You're not thinking that they're gonna come back, obviously. So yeah,
like I just answered, we had 2 different companies. One was Technicolor and one was, and I'm forgetting the one, but there was silver cans and orange cans. The orange cans came on Thursday. The silver cans came on Wednesday. So Star Wars was in an orange can.
Oh, well, I hope I hope that teen got what he deserved. AJ, you got one?
AJ, do you perhaps have a memory?
A memory.
A memory. Let's see here. Mike, take another turn. Come back to me.
Okay.
I was feeding you one, a memory.
I was also thinking cats.
Yeah.
I was also thinking cats.
Okay. So this is a story I told at the on the show before we got into, but yeah. So remember what came out the same night as Cats, Con?
Rise of Skywalker, right?
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw it at a Alamo Draft House, right? Saw it with some friends, and it was 3 of us, and we got done watching this. We didn't like episode 9. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
We did not have a fun time, but we booked 2 showings about an hour apart, and we were seeing Cats as a double feature. So we go into the bar lobby of Alamo Draft House, and we run them out of Hennessy. Why
me
Hennessy?
all
I
of
don't
it.
know. I don't drink Hennessy.
Yes. Just randomly settled on that.
And we get to the show of Cats, where
Mhm.
we were in a full theater for episode 9. There are 3 other people,
Yep, sounds about right.
and we are all 6 of us having the time of our life.
I bet.
Just it was a rowdy screening, even though like the Alamo Draft House rules, like if people complain about noise, you're kicked out. There were
Mhm.
6 of us in there. None of us gave a shit.
Of course not.
We broke all of the Alamo Draft House rules that night.
That's appropriate. William in the chat saying Cats is a pure movie. I don't think it's a better made movie than Rise of Skywalker, but it's definitely more fun to watch than Rise of Skywalker.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I've seen Cats more than I've seen.
Oh, I have. I probably have too. And it's like
Which
every
would you rather
time you're
watch
just
right now.
every time I'm watching it, it's like I'm watching it for the first time because I don't remember half the things.
Oh,
It's like a
Rise of
fever. It's
Skywalker?
like a
Yeah.
fever dream every time you watch it.
Yeah. So when we saw Bethany has told this on the show, we had 2 funny things happen, and they were both before the movie started. First off, we lived in Orlando. We went to the Disney Springs Theater. They had a bar there as well, and they always treated us very, very nicely there. So we're sitting there, and we said we were seeing Cats, and the bartender's like, "Yeah, you're gonna need these." But then the previous screening lets out, and Disney Springs, they sell out. They have 24 screens there, and if you were there like within the first 2 weeks of almost any movie, the likelihood of it being sold out is very high.
Mhm.
And we actually saw Cats in the sold out screen, but it was a theater that held like maybe 50, 60 people, but it was a dine-in theater. The previous show gets out, and what was the exact phrase? God.
You saw someone walking out and they gave a reaction.
So it was like an older lady, a senior citizen, and
Okay.
what was it? I don't remember the exact phrase. Bethany would remember this in a heartbeat. It was like "too sexy for Christmas" or something like that.
An old lady thought Cats was sexy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then we go into our screen, and it's assigned seating there, and we like the dining theaters there because they have the full heated reclining seats, plus you can get stuff delivered to you, and somebody sitting in the wrong seat, and it's actually like in the front row. It's like it's not even like a desirable seat, and these 2 people almost threw fisticuffs going before Cats is about to start over assigned seating.
Oh my god.
Now I'm just piggybacking on that one for you, AJ, because I had a different one in mind that I wanted to share. This is not one that I was actually in. This is another one from when I was working there. I had one time that I had to end a movie, like cut the movie short outright, and it was because of teenagers fighting.
Hmm.
And the movie was Coach Carter, which is literally about improving.
Yeah, teamwork. You're not listening to the spirit of the message of the movie.
We literally had to end the
Oh my
screening
God.
like about 45 minutes, and they actually had to call the cops to
Oh
come
my
in
God.
because
So-
there's like teenage gang violence going on in Coach Carter.
This immediately makes me think of the time that my favorite bar in Omaha, they do dollar hams beers, and movie Mondays. They do a double feature, and we had to as a group kick a guy out of the bar during School of Rock.
So weird. It's never the movie you think when people get thrown out.
Like I've had movies,
Oh,
I had
God.
plenty of experiences like with something like, there was occasionally like a problem with the projector or something that we'd have to
Mhm.
end a movie early or something like that. But this was the only one that I ever had that I had to stop the movie because of what was going on inside of the actual crowd. I did have once, what was it? I forget which movie it was. And it wasn't something, it was one of the horror movies. Maybe it was one of the Final Destinations. That we go into the theater and there are about 30, 40 people sitting on the floor in the front, and every single seat is taken. And we literally had to say, okay, we are not starting this movie until everybody who's on the floor has a seat. we need every single one of you to hold up the ticket stub for the movie that you have
Oh my
purchased.
goodness.
And I was like, if you would like to, on your own accord, go leave this theater right now, you can go see the movie that you would like. If we come up to you and we find you with a ticket, you will be escorted out of the theater without a refund. And about 15, 20 people complied. And about 5 or 6 people actually got kicked out. And we eventually got it to the point where we had to like refund 1 or 2 people because we couldn't find where the other ones were. I'm like, people must have been like handing off tickets or something like that. It's like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's Final Destination. Why?
Priorities, man. It's all about priorities. Some people don't have them straight.
I'll give you one other quick one too for another theater one. This one was because of a mechanical issue. We were one of the only theaters in the country that had a massive demand for this particular movie because I worked right. Our theater was right in front of the Manassas battlefields, which was part of the Civil War, and the movie Gods and Generals, which was not at all a hit.
I don't think I've even heard of this movie.
It's a Civil War movie. It's 4 hours long.
No,
and our projectionist the night before tried to attempt to put it on one platter because we actually had an intermission because it was so long.
Yeah, I mean, I bet.
She attempted to put it on one platter and determined that we couldn't have the suction cups that held the film down on all the way. So she had to disassemble it and reassemble it as 2 things. So we had to go midway through the movie and rethread it and restart it. And the very first showing of it in a sold-out theater of 400, it had what's called a brain wrap. If you aren't familiar with what a brain wrap is, it's when the film gets snagged in the middle of the piece that moves the film into the projector. And the entire movie, we have this sold-out screening about 25 minutes into it. The entire film just gets ruined.
Oh.
And I got called upstairs to fix it because I was one of the projectionists. I was working on the floor at the time. And we had 400 angry Civil War buffs. Their movie.
That's not a phrase you hear very often. 400 Civil War buffs.
But yes, it literally was a movie like it's one of those things too that was like a one weekend wonder for us, and I think like the rest of the country, it barely opened in the top 10. We had to put it in our biggest theater just because of the location, because people went to the battlefield either before or after they saw the movie. So it was a weird circumstance for us that I don't think anybody else in the country had.
What state was this taking place in? Was
Virginia.
it Georgia? Virginia. Okay. Yeah,
Virginia.
Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense for Civil War buffs.
Yeah, because the battlefield literally, if you drove out of the parking lot of the theater, went down one light and turned, that's where the battlefields were.
Got it.
So that's actually, if you are familiar with this, back in the late 90s and early 2000s, when Disney was looking to build Disney's America, that's what they were trying to buy, was the battlefields.
That could only go well.
Yeah.
Disney is nothing but respectful.
Oh, exactly.
Especially 90s Disney.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like right in the Eisner era.
Respectful to all cultures.
Mm.
Don't question.
Spider-Man 3 was a great one.
Okay.
So my hometown movie theater, it was the last weekend the balconies were open. Do you guys remember watching movies from a balcony? I loved it. It was so wonderful. However, the midnight screening of Spider-Man, once again, hundreds of teenagers in one
Rowdy
confined
as hell.
space.
Yeah.
Somebody jumped off the balcony.
Oh no!
Yelling
They thought they were Spider-Man.
And busted his fucking leg on a theater.
Oh god!
Like an armrest.
Of course he did.
He aimed for the aisle and missed.
Like the other guys, aim for the bushes.
Aim for the bushes.
It's exactly that.
Sidebar, that might be the hardest I've ever laughed. Like I was aim for the bushes. I was laughing so hard you can no longer hear myself. Like I was wheezing, laughing hard at aim for the bushes. So quite possibly the hardest I ever laughed at a movie. You got another one, Con?
I feel like, let's see. A lot of mine recently have been going to watch like re-releases in theaters. Because a lot of these I didn't get to see
Right.
the original run.
Mhm.
So some of the good ones were I saw Princess Mononoke, I think 2 years ago for the first time. That looks amazing on the big screen. Saw Toy Story, obviously.
Right. I figured that one.
Yeah, I saw stuff. There's a lot of anime movies. Coraline,
Mhm.
and then I saw Batman '89 also recently. So that's just like seeing like you can't really appreciate movies at home. That's those movies at home. You really the big screen really makes a difference.
Batman 89 is one that like I don't have like a story about the circumstances in the theater, but like being awestruck. I was 6 when Batman 89 came out, and that's one of those just like the movie itself, like Batman 89, Jurassic Park, Who Framed Roger Rabbit was a big one for me in that, like just seeing things that are just you're like, oh wow, just blown away by what's going on.
I mean, I liked Batman '89 before, but then I saw it on the big screen. I'm like, I appreciate it even more. So
yeah. I think Jurassic Park, like when it comes to being just seeing something on the screen and just being like, oh my God, I'm watching this. I think that's probably my number one experience when it came to that. I was 10 when Jurassic Park came out. So what would you say like for like the wow factor? Like when you saw the movie for the first time, like just being just like blown away by something about the movie. I know The Matrix is the answer for a lot of people, but
yeah. I'm trying to think.
Oh man, that is
What factor moment.
okay. The original Spider-Man was a big thing for a 12-year-old when it came out. That was really really cool. Just I think that's it. There's kind of like the acrobatics of it all and how crazy it looked for its time. Like, damn. And of course I mentioned Free Willy. Like as a little kid.
Because you gotta.
That was huge. That was a big one for young AJ. Man, what else?
I think this is probably my earliest memory of a theater was watching Toy Story 2. And the opening where like it's the Buzz Lightyear video game, but you don't know as a kid, you don't know that that's a video game. And so seeing that, I was like, holy crap, this is what the sequel to like the original is going to be. And then obviously they pull the rug out from under you. But yeah,
right.
The opening of that is awe-inspiring if you're like, what was I, 5 years old?
I remember when the original came out. I didn't see the original, like, because if I remember correctly, Con, you probably know this, but I think the original came out right around Thanksgiving.
I think so, yeah.
And I think I saw it the week after Christmas, and it was still sold out. The theater I was in was still sold out. Like, I know, like, I remember it was actually Bethany was just on Settle the Score, and Nose asked one of the questions was, what was the original worldwide box office? And it was a lot lower than I expected. But I was like, I just remember being in that theater a month after it came out and it's still being sold out. But the thing is, the theater counts were also a lot lower back in, there weren't as many theaters at that particular point in time and things like that. But you think about how quickly things now fizzle out in theaters. There were so many different things that over time, sometimes even built. Toy Story, when it first came out, was almost laughed at. Like the trailer was not received super well, but then people saw the movie and it was like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Yeah. Those were the days when movies would actually stay in theaters longer than a month or 2 weeks even. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember the theatrical window? Remember how long Titanic was in theaters?
Titanic was in theaters for almost a full year, if I remember correctly.
That's those were the days.
All right. AJ, you want to give us one more, or are you going to...
Yeah, guys, I think I need to head out. Just stuff with the technical stuff and a little something over here. But y'all have a great night, and yeah, keep it going. Squeeze it easy.
Squeeze it easy, AJ.
There you go.
All right, Con, you and I will get things wrapped up for the night. I was just going to mention a couple of other quick ones in that regard. It's been mentioned on here many times. My first midnight movie was Mortal Kombat. I think anybody who's watched the show once probably knows that. I saw that back in '95 as a midnight screening. It was the first one. And that was the first, what I would call, quote unquote, rowdy screening. And when the opening, just the New Line Cinema logo is up there and they literally scream Mortal Kombat. and the crowd reaction to that's something like I'll never forget. They just scream Mortal Kombat, and an entire audience is literally just screaming because the movie hasn't even started yet. It's the New Line Cinema logo, and everybody is going just ballistic about it.
I can imagine.
Yeah, that was definitely fun. I was, I grew up in the 80s. I was fortunate enough. I wish they did this more. I know you mentioned like the retro movies, but the Disney movies back then used to have like a 7-year re-release. So like the classics, I did see a bunch. I saw your Snow White, your Cinderella, like Bambi, things like that when they got re-released in the theaters. And then they used to do them where I'm sure you know about like the clamshell videotapes that sell for absurd resale prices these days. But getting to see movies like that are something that I think that a lot of the younger generation, it's kind of lost on, because like now they're all at their fingertips for better or worse. But it's like them getting to see Snow White for the first time. Like a lot of those movies, like I had been to Disney World, so I knew the Disney World rides and stuff like that, but I'd never seen the movies or anything. So then all of a sudden, oh, it's coming into theaters. When you're a kid, that's an exciting situation. But now it's like, yeah, okay, put it on at home and not even pay attention to it.
Exactly. It's just background noise now.
Yeah. I feel
back in our day, you had to sit down and actually watch something.
right.
There wasn't that much else to do.
I'm just as guilty as it's that. Like when I watch something at home, I have to make myself pay attention. Like I outright say all the time, I would much rather go see something in a theater because I am focused on the movie. If I'm in the theater, I don't have any other distractions. But it's something that's changed over time, and the very last one I did want to mention was the most recent movie we saw. We went and saw Spinal Tap 2: The End Continues, and Bethany and I were literally the only two people on opening day, the only two people in the theater, and the theater could not figure out how to turn the house lights off. So the trailers go on.
I've had that as well.
The thing, like, I wasn't super fazed by it, but the thing was, like, the top curtains had like a little shadow, so the top of the screen you could see the curtain. Bethany went out like 3 or 4 times to ask people. Finally, somebody came in and knew what they were doing, but it was like the comedy of errors in the theater. Like, but I'm just sitting there. I'm like, of any movie where something like this is going to go wrong, it's going to be Spinal Tap.
It makes sense for Spinal Tap. That could have been part of the bit.
All right, so let's get wrapping up. Con, tell everybody about what you're up to right now.
We're just Left Side Strong Side is going strong. We're actually doing 2 shows a week, one where we recap all the games and then one where we preview the following week. It's me, Jacob London, Chance Ellison on Chance's YouTube channel. So yeah, go watch that. And then I don't got much else going on. My life's pretty standard.
Yeah. And as we've been plugging, and I'll have a thumbnail out soon, Friday, October 24th is going to be the What the Show 5-year anniversary stream, which in Con, you are more than welcome to jump on that night for any amount of time you would like. We already have something very cool planned that we're debating whether we're going to advertise it or not. I'm just going to say this. There is a reunion of sorts happening that we do have taking place on the show. We will find out whether we're going to advertise it in advance or just drop it that night. But there is something very special in the works for everybody who is a fan of the Schmodown. There is something that is going to happen that night that's going to be a lot of fun. Ooh. So, I want to say thanks again, Con, and we'll see you next time.